Welcome to this presentation. My name is Femke van 't Hof, and on behalf of my group, I would like to present a research report titled Computational Analysis of Disruptions of Mobile Networks During Wartime, an Adaptive Network Modeling Approach. This work was carried out as part of a course at the Hague University of Applied Sciences and done in collaboration with Professor Dr. Jan Treur. Our study analyzed a cyber attack on a Ukrainian telecommunications network Kyivstar by the Russian government-supported hacking group Sandworm. We developed a network model with MATLAB that graphically demonstrated the cause and effect and dynamics between different states in this scenario. MATLAB helped us explore cybersecurity risks and adaptive network analyses within the cybersecurity domain. Since the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war in 2014, Ukraine's military has heavily depended on mobile networks for critical communication and civilian bomb alerts. Recognizing the strategic importance of these networks, Russia targeted Ukraine's communication infrastructure, not only through physical means but also via complex cyber attacks. One of the most significant instances of this occurred in March 2023, when Russia's notorious cyber group, Sandworm, infiltrated Ukraine's largest mobile network provider, Kyivstar. This attack was made possible by the involvement of a corrupt insider within Kyivstar, who provided Sandstorm with sensitive information about network vulnerabilities and effective methods of security exploitation. With this insider assistance, Sandworm successfully installed the Black Energy 3 malware, granting them remote control over the network, allowing for data theft and disruptions of operations, including critical infrastructure. The consequences of Sandworm's infiltration were severe, causing a total disruption of Kyivstar's services and affecting both civilian and military communications. One of the devastating aspects of this attack was the disabling of Ukraine's bomb alarm system, which left civilians vulnerable to potential aerial attacks. Seizing on this opportunity, the Russian military leaked information about an imminent attack, sowing fear and chaos. In response, Ukrainian authorities had to rely on unconventional methods, such as sending vehicles equipped with loudspeakers to warn civilians directly. Following this breach, VEON, Kyivstar's Dutch parent company, acted quickly to address the vulnerability. They implemented upgrades to network security and enhanced their vetting process to ensure that only trusted employees would have access to critical systems, thereby mitigating the risk of future attacks. The network model represents the foundation of this research with an extensive visual framework on the starting point of the scenario, the execution, and then finally the results of the scenario's timeline. Through this, the involved states and connections are shown to provide a clear visualization of the scenario and its potential development. With extensive desk research about the threat actor and cognitive assumptions about the scenario and potential newly occurring events, the scenario is represented in two levels, the base level and the adaptation level. The base level provides information about the background of the scenario and the cause and effect framework. It reflects the connection between states, structure, and flow, while showing what potential scenarios could have occurred in the case of, for example, whether a bomb threat alarm would go off or not. In the base level, all elements behave according to their standard pattern, and it serves as a reference point for evaluating changes or adaptation. The base level offers a foundational understanding of the scenario's interaction patterns, serving as a point of reference for a proper what-if analysis. By analyzing the base level, this research was assessed on how the system responds to various scenarios and identify potential areas of adaptation. The adaptation level represents a modified state of the network that shows a response to the base level scenario, meaning that the adaptation level visualizes what it has learned from the cause and effects of the scenario. The adaptation level shows changes within the scenario and could potentially show shifts in behavior between the connecting states. Furthermore, it illustrates how the scenario can adjust or evolve by developing countermeasures to prevent the damage of the scenario. In this context, it can be seen that the adaptation level has learned to adjust its security network and develop countermeasures to prevent another cyber attack from the threat actor. For this research, the adaptation level is particularly useful in demonstrating the learning process within a network model through cognitive assumptions. Through a thorough analysis of the network model and the development of numerical values, we created a graph in MATLAB to represent our scenario. In this platform, various parameters can be adjusted to explore different experimental outcomes. Our research project focused on Sandworm's attempts to infiltrate the Kyivstar network provider by recruiting a malicious insider, as we believe that early identification of such threats could lead to significant preventative measures. Additionally, we examined early warning signs that might indicate a threat before a large-scale cyber attack occurs. we made substantial adjustments to key parameters, particularly the non-adaptive connection weight and non-adaptive speed factors. This choice was informed by our initial experiment, which emphasized the importance of these parameters and their influence on one another. To ensure the experiment closely mirrors real-world conditions, the non-adaptive connection weight values were determined by several factors, including intent and cause and effect relationships. All non-adaptive connection weight factors were set to a value of 2. The non-adaptive speed factors were based on the connection weight and the scenario network model to create a realistic time frame since the scenario unfolds over several months. Therefore, these factors were giving a value below 0. To clarify these effects, the graph showed that x2, x3, x4, x5, and x6 are significantly impacted once a malicious insider hired by Sandworm infiltrates the network. The graph illustrates that network stability drops immediately after this insider is acquired. Additionally, as the insider gathers data over time, both network stability and public fear increase, which is reflected in a gradual rise in the graph that corresponds with the insider's activities. In MATLAB, we adjusted various parameters to explore different experimental outcomes, focusing particularly on the non-adaptive connection weight and the non-adaptive speed factors. Our initial experiments showed these parameters significantly influence each other. The graph indicated that when speed factor values were above 1, the results lacked complexity and failed to represent the realistic time frame for an attack, missing critical details about influences, threats, and risks. Consequently, these states occurred simultaneously, leading us to adopt lower, more realistic values for further experiments. During the what-if analysis, we chose to focus on the acquisition of a malicious insider, as this factor demonstrated the greatest influence on network stability, public fear, and ultimately contributed to the large-scale cyber attack. Our analysis centered on 3 key factors: x2, x7, and x19. These had significant impact on x3, x5, x8, and x21, which indicate the fear spread amongst civilians, the network vulnerability and stability, and the attack response. We conducted both a high-speed scenario and a regular low-speed scenario in our experiments. The graphs showed that in a low-speed realistic scenario, more warning signs of a malicious insider could be detected. The network's vulnerability remained compromised for a longer time, allowing fear to spread among the public as information was gathered before the large-scale attack. In contrast, the high-speed scenario masked the signs of insider activity as the attack unfolded quickly and unexpectedly. However, the scale of the attack was reduced due to the limited preparation time. Overall, MATLAB and similar experimental tools can make significant contributions to the identification of risk and threats. Additionally, they provide a valuable framework for analyzing the potential consequences of these risks, which can support the development of effective response measures to mitigate potential impacts. Network-oriented modeling, along with MATLAB and similar tools, play a key role in identifying risks and threats. These methods provide a solid framework for analyzing potential consequences and allow us to evaluate mitigation strategies through simulations and wargaming scenarios. This enhances threat detection and helps develop effective response measures to reduce impacts. A cyber attack scenario on Ukraine's telecommunication networks, conducted by Russian-backed hackers, was modeled using network-oriented modeling and analyzed through MATLAB analysis. Through this analysis, a series of graphs were created and analyzed, providing insights into the cause and effect relationships between different states. Additionally, with what-if scenarios, we could explore how changing one state impacts others and explore the potential outcomes of the scenario. We could see how speed and intensity of specific events played a crucial role in the overall dynamics. For instance, we found that sufficient time was crucial for threat actors, particularly during the preparation stage, to gather sensitive data, impacting network vulnerability and maximizing damage. For the adaptation and security measures, this highlights especially the importance of early detection of threat actors within the network. Key findings from these analyses helped us understand how adaptive network modeling could be used as a framework to understand responses to cyber attacks. Significant insights were learned related to cybersecurity risk management, emphasizing the importance of understanding the adaptability and dynamics of networks in response to cyber threats. It is important to also acknowledge the limitations of the research. The numerical probabilities in the what-if analysis were based on estimations rather than practical experiments due to the time and research constraints. Additionally, while the network modeling approach has its strengths, it may not fully capture all real-world aspects of networks. Applying this analysis method to a variety of scenarios is suggested to obtain a more comprehensive understanding. Thank you all for joining me today as we explored our research on the computational analysis of disruptions in mobile networks during wartime. Enjoy your day.